This is a worldwide broadcast, so wherever you may be, good day. Welcome to another edition of Sales TV. This is a very special episode of Sales TV. This is Sales TV, the marketing edition, and this marks the start of a limited series of Sales TV episodes specifically dedicated to the field of marketing. Another reason this is a very special episode, this is in front of a live audience. We're coming to you live from Northeastern University, joining a classroom full of Huskies in their Intro to Marketing class. Students, first of all, thank you very much for hosting us and allowing us to be part of your educational journey. So, thank you to the audience. Today, we will be joined by Aaron Hassen. Aaron is a seasoned marketing professional specializing in messaging, demand generation, and brand development. Aaron has deep-seated belief in the transformative power of effective marketing strategies. He understands great strategy is the bedrock of outstanding execution and results. As the chief marketer at AH Marketing, a full-service marketing agency, Aaron has been instrumental in supporting growing B2B businesses. Today we'll be talking about positioning, and that aligns with some of the lessons that we've already covered in this course. We've talked about the 4 Ps, and we've talked about branding. So to delve deeper into the conversation regarding positioning, let's bring Aaron onto the show. Aaron, good afternoon and welcome.
Thank you.
Please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm glad to be here. I had no idea I was going to be a marketer, to be honest with you. I was in the military. I was an intelligence analyst in DC, worked for the military, worked as a defense contractor, decided to open up a business. I got out of that, went home here to Orlando where I live, opened up a business and ran that for 4 years. So I was a founder and in a company that was acquired. So we got acquired after 4 years. And throughout that experience, I created a product, I sold my product and marketed product. I really started to have a love for the marketing side. And so that opened my eyes to what became a 20-year career now. You're supporting other B2B founders just like me. So I'm happy to be here. And if I can inspire any of you toward the career of marketing and give you any pointers on some of the things I've learned, that's what I'm here to do.
Awesome, thank you. So, Aaron, this semester we're learning about the major themes around marketing. Each week, we explore various marketing terms and various marketing concepts. The overarching goal for us this semester is to help the students learn how to think and talk like a marketer. So with that in mind, if you had one thing that you could teach the students about, what would that be?
Yeah, for me, we discussed this, you and I discussed this, Professor Durant, and I believe that positioning is core to any business. And in fact, it's core to any person. Positioning is synonymous with personal branding as well. So it's, how are you perceived in the market? And how do you influence your audience, buyers, customers? How do you impact them, influence them? How do they think about you? And where do they categorize you? And all those things. And that's an approach you take in marketing. There's a way to do that. There's a way to go about that. And as I've said, to other audiences, branding is really the emotional interface that you have with your customers. It's the emotional messaging, and but positioning is the intellectual. So it's the rational side of that. And that brand has to have a foundation, has to be believable, has to represent something in the mind of the customer. And that's what positioning does. And that's what I would recommend.
So tell us a little bit more about positioning. We've talked about brand, but we haven't really delved into positioning. What can you share with us?
Yeah, I was 14 years into my career working for a company called Flex Receipts, and they were a business to business company. We sold to Under Armour, GNC, Michael Kors, basically powering digital receipts for major retailers. Now, they were a single product company, receipts, and when the adoption of digital receipts, had grown to a level where there wasn't a lot of demand for it, they saw their product market fit start to wane, their sales start to wane, and they had to make an adjustment. And so they decided, what is our core competency? They started to look at that and said, what are we good at? What are we best at? And they decided to expand into other, what we call transactional messages. So you get a receipt post purchase, but you also get things like packing slips and order confirmations and shipping updates. And what this company did was they inserted promotions into those digital receipts and confirmations to get people to buy again. And they were very effective at doing that. So what we needed to do in order to get the company back on track, mind you, this is a venture-backed Silicon Valley Y Combinator company, lots of pressure to be the next unicorn, and they had to get their act together. And I was leading marketing, so we knew we needed to rebrand. We couldn't just be a single product company in receipts. So we rebranded to Flex Engage because we wanted to engage customers throughout the post-purchase. We thought that made sense. But it had to be about more than that. We needed to revisit some of the things like, who are we? What is this company about? Who are our customers? When you start to extend into a platform, you have other customers, you have other problems you're solving. So we need to go back to the basics and understand, how we're different now as this other product company than you were in the past. And that's where positioning came in. That's actually where I intersected and I met with a positioning strategist who worked for Andy Cunningham. Now, Andy Cunningham launched the Mac with Steve Jobs in 1983. She went on to work with him at Pixar and Next. She went on to reposition BlackBerry, Oracle, Cisco. So she is a master. And I learned about her 6 C's of positioning, and I have used them ever since. And I think they are the core to building any business. And I wish I knew them when I owned my business, to be honest with you.
6 C's. That's a framework for positioning?
Yeah, 6 C's are a framework. In marketing, I have found, especially, I just mentioned, I work for, these fast growth startups. So they don't have a lot of runway. There's not a lot of time or money. So you've got to get to answers quickly. And so you have to do things efficiently. And I like to depend on frameworks, proven frameworks. So some of those I mentioned, Andy's 6 C's, but other ones include Clayton Christensen's Jobs to Be Done. That is a great product marketing framework. So if you're doing product marketing, I suggest starting there. Or messaging. If you want messaging, I really appreciate StoryBrand by Donald Miller. I have used his approach in building communications and narratives. But yeah, with positioning, for me, it's the 6 C's. And like I said, you want to basically get to the heart of, what is who is this company? Who are you and why do you matter? You got to get there. And so there's a method to doing that.
So tell us a little bit more about those. I don't want to put you on the spot, but what are the 6 C's, or at least some of them?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's dig in. I like to start this way. I say, to folks, like you in the audience, I say, if I'm going to name some brands, and what I want you to do is to think about what's the first word or phrase you associate with that brand, okay? And what is it in your mind? Because Al Ries and Jack Trout wrote a great book in the 80s called Positioning: The Battle for Your Mind. And what they said was that positioning is how we come to own real estate in the mind of the buyer. So we do that very specifically, very intentionally. And so when I mention brands like Apple or brands like Coca-Cola or Nike or Patagonia or Chick-fil-A, there's probably something that happens in your mind. There's something you relate. Maybe with Coca-Cola, it's the polar bear, right? Maybe with Apple, it's think different. Or, Nike, just do it, and things like that they've implanted using marketing and advertising and influence. Now, how we market today is different than in the past. That changes as the consumer changes, but what happens in your mind and the way that you relate to these brands is not by accident. It's very intentional, and that's where the 6 C's come in. And I'm happy to walk you through what they are.
Please.
Yeah. So to position any brand, you always start with research, okay? So you don't get to any of these insights or answers without research. The 6 C's are this. Number one, the first C and the most important C is core. We talk about authenticity, empathy, all those things, but you got to know who you are as a business. And Andy Cunningham says that there are 3 types. She says there are mothers that are customer focused, there are mechanics that are product focused, and there are missionaries that are mission focused. And so we really got to get a sense and nail down which one we are, because the truth is we are, even if we don't realize it, we make decisions on staffing, on where to invest in the product or service, all based on that prism, whether or not we're a mother company and we focus on customer experience like Disney, or a mother company and we focus on segmentation like what's it called? Some of these retailers, the something 21, I forget the name of it, but there's
Forever 21.
Forever 21. Thank you for the assist there. But so if you're a mother company, you can go to market in 2 ways: customer experience or customer segmentation. So basically, if you're a mother, you say, okay, I'm going to create a great experience, or I'm going to talk to a specific segment of the market, and those are the folks that we're going to support, and we're going to take their problems to market. You can be a mechanic, a product company, and you can either go to market with product value like Walmart does, or with product features like Microsoft does. So this is what Andy says: you got to start seeing the world through this prism. The last one is missionary. We all know Steve Jobs with a cult of personality, and Apple tried to create the next big things. That's the way that missionary companies go into market. Elon Musk, Virgin, you're gonna, as you see the world through this prism, you're gonna start categorizing folks the way I have once I learned it. But that is core, and you need to understand who you are and how you're going to market. That's very important to your customer who's looking for a solution and has a problem. They need to understand you and who you are. So the next is community, and that is your customer and who influences them. So you need to understand your customer, of course, and who influences them and what that ecosystem is that you're entering if you're offering a product or service. The next one is category, and that is where do you fit in the market? Make this easy for me. Like, what kind of product or service are you? Like, we don't have all the time and calories to kind of figure things out. So we need you to make it simple. And category is a very effective way at marketing. So a lot of companies have built new categories. Salesforce is one of those. Terminus, which was account-based marketing, came in and created a new category. And that is an effective way to come in and own a market. But category is next. And then after that is context. So why are you relevant now? You can offer a product, and if it's seen its time, then you're too late and it's not going to work. Of course, we look at our competitors, what they can tell us, but how we're different from them, which is key. What is our superpower is the question. What is your only statement? You do what better than anyone else? You have to understand that, because your customer wants to know that. Why you? Why you now? So these are the questions we're answering, and they get us to some of that foundation. The last is criteria, and all that is, what are the essential factors for competing in your space? If you're targeting a millennial buyer, you got to have a cause or a purpose. These are some of the prerequisites that you just have to know to be a part of that community. And those are the 6 C's. But like I said, to determine those things, you got to go and do the research.
If you have any questions, please let me know. I will ask you to share them with us. Let me ask this group, though, the marketing students, how do these 6 C's align with what we're learning so far? Anything contradicting? Anything supporting? Any insights around that? Fair enough. Silence does not mean agreement, nor does it mean that you don't have these questions, but we'll move on. Aaron, I know you and I spoke earlier about the role of the CMO, and I think it's actually an important conversation to have for this group. I don't know how many are aspiring to the highest level of marketing in an organization, but as they start on their marketing journey, maybe we can give them a little bit of insight as to what's ahead. Are CMOs an endangered species?
Yeah, their tenures keep going down. So 18 months in tenure, you work your entire career to get to the CMO position, and many of them are not staying in those positions very long. And the reason is that business is changing. So a lot of companies, not just small business, but mid-market and even large companies are very results driven. So they've got to produce this quarter, this year. And so a lot of the practices of marketing have been either academic or they have been very, let's say, back of the room kind of thing, like, shutting a door, everybody has a seance, puts on some incense, and nobody knows where you came up with this stuff. So there's a lot of, let's say, unknown in terms of your CEO and your CFO. How exactly are we getting to revenue? And, how are you spending this money? And how can I be confident that our forecasts are accurate? And this is the job now of the new CMO, especially in light of go-to-market teams, like the reorganization of a lot of companies around a go-to-market approach, which puts like a RevOps organization right next to the CEO, so he has a point of truth that he can look across products, marketing, sales, and get those insights and business intelligence to make better decisions. So no longer does he turn to his second most influential person, the CMO, like it was in the past. Instead, he'll turn to a RevOps data person and say, "Give me the facts." So we're in a new environment, and we have to survive in that environment. We have to understand business, understand finance, even more than understanding the customer, understanding the market, the context, all of these external forces. We have to understand the business itself. So that is the shift. And with AI coming into our industry, particularly in the content marketing space and other areas, and with analysis and everything, some of those lower level jobs are eventually going to be facilitated by AI. So what that means is you have to be a strategist as much as you're an executioner. Hope you're right. As much as doing execution. So I recommend, it's talks like this that will hopefully, give you an underpinning in strategy, as well as, you go out there and learn social media and email marketing and community-based marketing, Discord and dark social channels, advertising and PR and all those things, content marketing and those are all tactics. But in order to really affect the business, strategy is key, creativity and innovation is key, and understanding of business and finance is key. So I was fortunate to be an entrepreneur first and to get my degree in marketing after I had entered the field. And today, I think it's incumbent upon those that are entering the field to really learn strategies. So some of those frameworks I mentioned, you might want to look those up. Jobs to be Done, Story Brand, and the 6 C's from Andy Cunningham, like I'm talking about today.
So we focus on a lot of marketing concepts here, but in academia anyway, a lot of the things that you just mentioned as separate, if you will, fall under marketing in our textbook. Things like sales, things like product development. Those are all marketing responsibilities according to the textbook. Give us the real scoop. What's the real world like?
Yeah, they're not. They're not. You have a chief product officer or CIO, chief information officer that does products, handles the product side, and can have marketers underneath them. You can have product marketers in that area of the business, and so those people are all about launching products. They're about product-led growth, adding users. So the products team is separate from the marketing team. The sales team has certainly in the past been more separate from marketing, although businesses are trying to align those two. Where sales talks to prospects individually, one-on-one, communicates directly. Marketing communicates indirectly. So I often like to call us, we're there, one-to-one. We can be one-to-many. Although it's becoming more personalized today in marketing, we are able to do things with account-based marketing on a one-to-one level. But in many ways, we sell with words and pictures. So that's where we have a lot in common with the sales team. But they are traditionally managed separately. They have a sales director. More recently, they've hired CROs, chief revenue officers, and placed marketing and sales underneath the chief revenue officer. But by and large, chief revenue officers have a sales background. They don't come from marketing. The majority of them are the best sellers and, work their way up. But today, marketing, where it used to be tip of the spear, it used to be that there, I think it was, I forget who said, but, business is primarily marketing and innovation. I think it was Peter Drucker. And it's no longer that way. Marketing is seen in some cases as supporting all the other departments, as well as the CEO and revenue. So we have to earn our way back into that tip of the spear position, as Andy Cunningham was with Steve Jobs in 1983.
So one of the things that we've discussed as a class is marketing is the voice of the marketplace. Trying not to use the same word in its own definition, but there you go. But by that, we've talked about marketing's responsibility is that one-to-many communication. Communicate the company's position to the marketplace being your customers, your prospects, your competitors, and any other group that you might need to want to influence. So government agencies and social action groups and the like. But the other half of that is marketing is also the ears for the organization and the eyes for the organization, listening to all of those same outside parties and bringing it back to the organization. That's the theoretical. I just heard you say, though, it's broken. Sales isn't talking to marketing? What can be done about that?
Yeah, I think it's our fault. So
us being marketers?
Us marketers. Yeah, I'm going to take ownership. Okay. So when I came into my first marketing role after having been an entrepreneur, I got my first marketing gig, and we were a $250,000 company. And very small, right? And I was like, okay, I've got to figure this out. My CEO sent me to Sandler Sales Institute to learn professional selling as a marketer. And I actually managed the sales team. And I brought up 3 salespeople, many of whom are still my friends to this day. And we went to market together because we had no choice. That company was either going to survive or die based on our ability to grow the business. Now, we did everything together. I was, in essence, a CRO because I was running both marketing and sales at a very early time. The reason I say this is our fault as marketers is because we get so busy in tactics that we are losing connection to the customer, to the market. When we sit in that boardroom or we sit at the table, if we don't speak with authority on the market, on the customer, on the competitors, Why are we there? Because that is our keen insight. That is what we have. So salespeople are doing it one-on-one. They know what this company has to say, and that company has to say, and that company has to say. We should be able to understand what tens of companies believe, what the market is talking about, what is happening, and the new innovations that are entering. What may happen in 6 months. We have to be the CEO's eyes and ears, and we haven't been. We've been so stuck in the day-to-day and the tactics. We've lost track of our role. Having the perspective of the customer and the market and the competitor. And this is why it's so essential. And you cannot position a business without having done that research. And you need to be doing it on a regular basis. So it's not always easy. Let me say that, because while sellers have access to buyers every day, we don't always have access. But if you're going to events like conferences, you may need to set up a committee of folks, of customers that you can talk to on a regular basis to bounce things off of. You don't run campaigns based just on your own experience, just on your own intuition. You have to do it based on research, and you have to know your customers, stay in connection with them. So I'm in huge agreement with that. We have to apply that in business, but we get just tunnel vision, and it's affected us.
But it's those tactics that our performance is measured upon. So how do we change that dynamic?
Yeah, I think the KPIs have to change. We've got to be
KPIs, by the way, key performance indicators. Just defining things for our one-on-one students.
They have to change. We have to be willing, and I hear some marketers that say, we don't sell, you can't tie us to revenue. I think it's hogwash. I think we sell indirectly, and I think what happens in the sales funnel is as much our responsibility. What happens in customer success, we can influence. I am all about the lifetime value of a customer, about what the buyer journey looks like and what their experience is through that buyer journey, and how I can improve that to drive loyalty and lifetime value, and whether or not they're going to refer us, and we're going to grow and own market share. So tie me to revenue. I want that. I want that accountability. So because I want to win. And we had no choice. If you're a small business, you've got to grow, you're going to die. You take on this level of responsibility.
I love it. Tie me to revenue because I want to win. I have a question.
You've talked a lot about portions of the marketing field that are like diminishing or getting cut out. Are there any portions that you think still have room to grow?
Did you hear that?
Yes, I did. Yeah. I think the trending areas of marketing right now are community-based marketing. Let me just set it up this way. There's a gap in trust today, and you all know it. Every consumer knows it. We've had political unrest. We've had pandemics. We've had isolation, fake news, privacy breaches, environmental disasters, opioid addictions, mental health crises. We've had companies that have been lying to us and control our data for years. That is the environment that we are selling and marketing into. And Ipsos reports it. Pew reports it. Every time I look at their latest consumer impact report, it is all about how important it is to establish trust. Now, the way we do that today is different than in the past. People are not watching advertising either on TV, through cable news. I mean, all of that's going to live streaming, and people are paying not to see ads, or even through online and digital. And, they just ignore the ads. You're seeing the effectiveness of advertising go down. People aren't clicking the way they used to. Conversion rates are lower. There is a lack of trust. So we go to the people, the influencers and those people that we trust in our own circles. And so that is key for marketers to know. So the areas that are trending all revolve around those trust centers. So community-based marketing, that is Discord. I'm in a Discord community called Rise with Mark Schaefer. He's a best-selling author of the book Known and Marketing Rebellion. They're fantastic. And I'm in many communities, as are so many of you. Discord communities, Slack communities, those are places that people are going for recommendations now. So understanding that environment, there's of course social media is still vibrant, particularly on the B2B space and LinkedIn, and B2C. It's other channels, obviously Instagram, things like that. TikTok and the rest. But we really need to look at those channels that provide a level of trust and personalization. Those are going to be the areas of the future. Newsletters are back, subscriber base. People want to subscribe. And so the way I do it is I use social media to drive subscriptions to my newsletter, to drive entrances into my community. And when you can create a community of your customers, your buyers, your audience, and your believers, and you're not trying to sell them in those communities. You're trying to build understanding. You're trying to help them in their daily lives. You're trying to interact and have empathy. You're trying to be human. So I believe that marketing is one of the most human businesses out there. And I would focusing on any channel like live events. People want to see people. They want to shake your hand. Live events are big now. Hotels, convention centers. That business is booming. I have a customer that's in that space. But that's where I would focus. We're back to, interpersonal marketing. So we're back to word of mouth, guys, in a digital form. So that's what I would recommend.
Excellent, thank you. So, Aaron, this time has flown by. Thank you very much. If people wanted to hear more from you, people wanted to connect with you, not just the students, but the audience that's watching as a whole, how would they go about doing that?
Please follow me on LinkedIn. I publish 3 to 4 times a week. I'm really trying to help folks like you and other marketers and this industry share knowledge and get better. When you go there, it's going to ask if you want to subscribe to my newsletter. I have a LinkedIn newsletter that I publish. Those are the places to start. You can go to my website, aaronhassen.com. I have interviewed Andy Cunningham. I've interviewed Sangram Vajre from Terminus. I've interviewed some of the biggest names in our space, Mark Schaefer. You're going to learn a lot from those interviews. So that's all out there free for you. If you're interested in this field, it is a dynamic field. It's ever changing, and I love that about it. But I'd be happy if you would follow me and join the movement.
Fantastic. Aaron, thank you very much. Students, thank you very much. This has been Sales TV, the marketing edition, the first in a limited series. And we will be back next week with another episode of Sales TV, the marketing edition. One last time, Aaron, thank you so much for joining us. And please keep in touch.
Thank you, guys. Good to be with you.